we need to educate meat eaters. Basically, we need to re-educate meat eaters because, as you already know, and as you can see, meat eaters are literally brainwashed and conditioned to eat meat, and to believe that it's okay to harm and kill animals, basically. So we need to re-educate meat eaters. Like, I mean, literally, we need to re-educate meat eaters because they've been conditioned and brainwashed, to eat meat and to think that it's okay to kill animals. So and the conditioning, it starts, already when we're children. The conditioning of the meat myth is basically, it's in our cartoons, it's in our school books, it's on television, it's on billboards, it's all over town, it's everywhere. So when a meat eater says, argues against veganism, or says something bad about veganism, well, what they're basically saying is they're saying what they have been conditioned and brainwashed to say. Like, for example, when a meat eater says, "But lions eat meat," or "cavemen eat meat," when they come with those arguments against veganism, then basically what they're saying is they're saying what they have been conditioned and brainwashed to say. So all they're saying is what they have been, literally what they have been taught. Because the conditioning is everywhere. It's in our school books, it's in our cartoons. The meat and dairy industry. The brainwashing. It's basically everywhere. So when a meat eater says something like that, "Oh, but lions eat meat," well, what they're saying is actually, it's a natural response to their own brainwashing. What they're saying is what they have already been brainwashed to say and been conditioned to say. So, saying things like, "Oh, but lions eat meat," or "cavemen eat meat," it's a natural response to what you've been brainwashed to say and been conditioned to say. So we have to educate meat eaters and literally, rewire their whole brain system and their whole ways of thinking, basically, and literally, veganism should actually be taught in all schools. It should be taught in schools, just like how other classes, it should be a class of its own with a capital. Veganism with a capital V should be taught in all schools, just like how anything else is taught in schools. Like, just like how I don't know, religion, just like how politics, or just like how history is taught in schools. Veganism should be taught in all schools. Both children, and especially now that veganism is growing, then the children should have the opportunity to learn it in schools. There should be it should be a class of its own in all schools and in universities. Teenagers and children and adults, they should be they should be able to graduate with a degree or a grade, like a grade A plus in veganism. In the future, now I might be jumping the gun a little bit here, but in the future, veganism will be taught in schools, just like how any other subject is taught in schools. The cavemen, the history of cavemen, is taught in schools. So in the future, veganism will be taught in schools. It will be a class of its own, to be taken in schools and in universities. So if there's something that people should ask for, then what they should ask for is that veganism be taught in their communities or in their schools. Basically, there should be vegan political parties, and we could go on and on about this, but basically, veganism should be taught in schools as a class of its own. And now, as veganism is growing, then people should have, especially children, should have the opportunity to learn it in schools, so that they have real support, and basically, so that they should have real support and real knowledge about what veganism really is, instead of in school they learn that, oh, it's okay to kill animals, it's okay to eat animals, oh, lions eat meat, oh, cavemen. The conditioning is everywhere. So basically, at least children should be given the opportunity to learn veganism in school, and then later in the future, veganism is going to be taught at university levels. But that's later on in the future. But basically, what we have to do, is we have to re-educate meat eaters, and so be a being of light and be a seed of consciousness and be someone who can inspire and be someone who's an inspiration to others. Because when people see you, that you're vegan, and see how how awesome you are at being vegan, or how how easy for you how easy it is for you to be vegan, then they will automatically radiate towards you, and they will be inspired by you and want to be basically like you. So be a seed of consciousness, and help to educate other meat eaters. You were probably also a meat eater yourself. I was a meat eater myself for 28 years before I went vegan. So the best way is to educate others. Help others understand what veganism really is, and then they will radiate towards you, and maybe one day even go vegan. You know, even if you don't change someone vegan overnight, you might be that seed of consciousness. You might be planting a seed of consciousness into their mind, and you know, one day, maybe if it takes, you know, 6 months, if it takes a year, you know, you could be the reason why they actually became vegan, even if they don't become vegan tomorrow morning.
If you're listening to this, you are the resistance. If you're listening to this,